Good morning, everyone. I'm Mickey, and joining us, we have my husband, Christian, and he's on his Rav Vast. So, this is a drum, and we're hoping that it will enhance your yoga experience today. So, let's go ahead and get started like we normally do. I'm going to bring a blanket and then just make a really small roll to rest underneath basically my heart center, maybe underneath your shoulder blades. So you can place that roll at the top of your mat. And then I just have this extra blanket here. And then you might have blocks close by. And then come to lie on your back, allowing that blanket roll to rest underneath your heart center. And you might sigh out through the mouth as you arrive. Maybe you want to cactus your arms out wide to the sides, or you could bring your hands to rest on your belly. Maybe you use your elbows to rest on that blanket roll. With your legs, you could either walk your feet as wide as the mat, allow the knees to tent together, or maybe you bring the soles of the feet to touch. Allow the knees to open out wide. And this is where I might use the blocks underneath the knees for support. So as you begin to arrive, allow yourself this moment in time to settle in. You could soften your forehead, relax the hinge of your jaw, and start to allow yourself to come into a safe space, a nice, loving container. You can bring your awareness deep down into your heart center. And notice if there is an intention, something you'd like to help cultivate and grow. It could be an idea, something you're working on, something you'd even want to let go of. If you'd like a suggestion for class, in our last class of winter, right on the beginning of spring, we have the very last niyama, which is called Ishvara Pranidhana, and it means surrender. I just have a short reading from the book by Deborah Adele, The Yamas and the Niyamas. We can be so busy feeling cheated or victimized when life doesn't go the way we want it to, that we often miss a new opportunity life is offering us in the moment. Ishvara Pranidhana, the jewel of surrender, presupposes that there is a divine force at work in our lives. Whether we call it God, grace, providence, or life, this force is greater than we are, and it cares deeply about us. Surrender invites us to be active participants in our own life, totally present and fluid with each moment, while appreciating the magnitude and mystery of what we are participating in. This guideline invites us to surrender our egos, open our hearts, and accept the higher purpose of our being. So if that idea of surrender speaks to you, you might use it as an intention today for your practice. Allowing yourself to surrender to gravity. Allow yourself to soften here. You might imagine the hold that gravity has on you is like a soft embrace. And if you feel ready to invite some movement into the body, you could sweep your hands down and close your knees up towards the sky. And then heel toe your feet out wide to the sides. If the blanket is feeling good there, you could leave it, or you could always move it off to the side. And then you might extend your arms out wide in a letter T shape. Allow your knees to float over to the left, allowing your right knee to float down towards your left foot. You might even feel that hip gently lift off of the mat. Maybe you want to reach your right arm long overhead, finding length all the way from the fingertips down the side of the body towards that knee. Take one more nice deep breath here, and then on your next inhale, you can lift your knees back up to center, float your right arm out to the side, and then we'll allow both knees to fall over to the right this time. Allow the left knee to float down towards the right foot. Maybe you want to reach the left arm long, finding length all along the left side body. Send some nice deep breaths into any areas of sensation. And we'll take one more nice deep breath here. And then go ahead and lift the knees back up to center. You can float the arms out to either side. And then we'll go ahead and lift the hands up towards the sky, and you can cross the right arm over the top of the left. Give yourself a nice big hug. You might gently begin to rock the torso a little side to side. Maybe getting a little massage along the spine. As you rock from side to side, you might allow your torso to travel up the length of the mat. And then find stillness once more. You can reach the arms out wide to the sides. And then take a moment to imagine someone you'd like to send a special blessing, a big hug to. And we'll wrap this time the left arm over the right as you sweep the arms up and over. Send that hug out. And if your hands are resting on your shoulders, you might give your shoulder a little massage, and maybe you rock once more a little side to side, allowing yourself to travel either up or down the length of the mat. Take one more nice deep breath, and then we'll release that hug. Open the arms out wide to the sides. You can bring the hands next to the hips now. Plant your feet into the mat. Slide the hips to the right so that you can roll over onto your left side. We'll take the blanket and move it off to the side now. And then from here, you can come back onto your back, and you might grab something that you can use for a strap and a block to have those close by. And then you can roll onto your back, and maybe you bring your hands onto your knees, or you could wrap a strap on your shins, just so that you can have a little more length through your arms, allowing your shoulders to relax. Go ahead and find a little bit of movement here. Maybe draw a circle with the knees. Breathing into the low back, allowing that sacrum area to receive a gentle massage from the earth, or maybe the bed. I support bed yoga too. When you're ready, you can rotate the knees in the opposite direction. Just finding that gentle massage for your low back. And then when you're ready, you can release your hands, release your feet back down to the mat. And then from here, you're going to play around with some pelvic tilts. So you can imagine your pelvis like a nice big bowl. Take a moment to admire all the contents of that bowl, its structure, its design. And then we're going to play around with tilting the pelvis. So you can start to peel the low back away from the mat as you tip your pelvis forward. Inhale to grow the belly nice and big, and then exhale, start to gather the belly in, draw the belly button towards the spine, and start to press the low back towards the mat. You might imagine that your sit bones are like headlamps, and can you see them pointing up towards your knees as you roll your pelvis up? Go ahead and play around with this movement, tilting the pelvis forward and back. Inhale to expand as you lift the low back. Exhale to gather, drawing the belly button in, and then start to press your heels into the mat. Maybe you come up into just a baby bridge, still keeping some engagement in your core. Go ahead and play around with this movement, exploring the range of motion. Range of movement, I guess, is what we usually call that. And as you keep that engagement, you might start to really press into your heels and start to lift up into a higher bridge. Maybe you bring your elbows to rest, cozy them right next to your torso. You can point the fingertips up towards the sky. You might not have to make such a big bridge to find some deep core engagement here. Take one more nice deep breath, and then the next time you come up into your bridge, you might take a block and slide it underneath your pelvis, your sacrum, your low back. Or you could also use a pillow here, or you could just hold the bridge in an active bridge if that feels good to you. It's energizing and supportive. Whenever you feel ready, you might find yourself in a supported bridge, bringing something underneath your pelvis, something that would feel cozy, soft enough that it's not painful, and supportive. And then from here, you could just stay like this, or maybe you want to play around with extending one leg up or both legs up, coming into basically a supported shoulder stand. This is a nice gentle inversion. You could also do this at the wall if you had a wall space, resting your legs up the wall, finding a new perspective by turning your world upside down. You might take a moment to really gaze lovingly at your feet, wiggling your toes. Maybe finding loving gratitude. Imagine yourself falling in love with your feet. What would that look like? And then from here, we'll lower the feet back down onto the mat. You can leave the right foot planted, and you might slide the left leg long. So you're finding a stretch maybe through this front hip flexor. And we'll just try one side at a time. If you'd like to maybe take this a little further, you could extend your left arm overhead. And maybe you find length all along the left side. If you want to keep increasing that stretch, you might shimmy your left arm over to the right. Maybe you shimmy your torso a little bit over to the right, just to accentuate that side. Take one more nice deep breath here, and then we'll bring our torso back to center. Bring your hand down. Maybe you're grasping hold of the blocks for support. You can slide that left foot back in, and then we'll start to slide the right leg long, finding a stretch for the hip flexor, the front of your right hip. Then you might reach your right arm overhead, and then maybe you reach it a little bit to the left. Just allowing yourself to explore. Sink deep into your body. We'll take one more nice deep breath here. And then when you're ready, you can come back to center. Slide both heels underneath the knees. Press into the heels to lift your hips, and then release the block off to your side. From here, if you have that block or something that you could use that has a little bit of an edge to it, so I like to use the edge of the block here to massage the base of the skull. So you could bring the block right behind your head, rest your head on the edge of the block, and then your chin is slightly tucked towards your chest. Then you could play around with just rocking the head a little bit here, side to side. And if you don't have a block, instead you could even just bring your fingertips to the base of your skull and give yourself a little gentle neck massage. Breathing into those areas in the neck that might be holding tension. Allowing yourself to practice that Ishvara Pranidhan, surrender. We'll take one more nice deep breath like this, and then when you're ready, you can come back to center. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, gently lower it, and you can move that block off to the side. We're going to come to our seats now, so you can either hug your knees into your chest, rock and roll up and down the length of your spine a few times, or roll onto one side and press yourself up into a seat. You might use a blanket. I like to fold the blanket and use it as a little seat so you can kind of lift your hips a little bit. And then let's bring the blocks close by and the strap. So you can come to whatever you would consider to be a comfortable seat. As I mentioned, I folded some blankets. Actually, I have 2 blankets folded. Lucky me, so that I have a little bit of lift for your hips, and that can help you lengthen through your spine, possibly. You could also sit in a chair, or maybe you want to extend your feet out into a V if it's too much for the knees to bend right here. Find whatever you would feel to be comfortable, sustainable, and allow yourself to arrive in your seat. On the next exhale, you can bow your head towards your heart. Just find a little bit of length through the back of the neck. On your next exhale, you might bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder. And then take a nice deep breath here. On your exhale, you can bow your head once more towards your heart. Inhale, bring your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Maybe you pause for your exhale. Take another nice deep breath, and as you exhale, you can bow your head once more towards your heart. Go ahead and take one more nice deep breath on each side. Allowing yourself to move at the pace of your own breath. And then we'll meet up with our head bowed to our hearts. You can sweep the arms out and up, and then bring the hands to clasp right behind the head. You're not pulling though, just allow the weight of your hands to rest on your head. And you can start to draw your elbows in. And then we'll inhale, lift the gaze up, bring the elbows up towards the sky, lift the gaze and the heart. Exhale, you might come back to just neutral, or maybe it would feel good to bow the head towards the heart just a little bit. And then we'll inhale, close the elbows up together, look up, lift up. And then inhale, come back to center, and you can reach your arms out wide to the sides. Let's bring the hands down, and you can either plant the right palm on a block or on the mat. And then we're going to start to find a side bend all along the left side. So you might drag your left arm up. Maybe you bring it just to your shoulder, or maybe it would be feeling good to bloom the arm open towards the sky. You might look up at your hand, and then on your exhale breath, turn your gaze down towards your bottom hand. Go ahead and take two more nice deep breaths like this. Inhale to look up any amount. Exhale, and it's almost like you're softly saying no. And that's okay too. Making space for saying no allows us to invite in new opportunities. And then the next time you lift your gaze up towards your hand, start to follow your fingertips with your gaze, and you can reach the left hand out in front, circle it up and around. Just go ahead and paint some nice, beautiful circles with your hand, breathing into the shoulder. Take your time. You can go slowly or more quickly, whatever would feel good to you. You might notice the beautiful colors tracing from your fingertips. And the next time your hand is up and overhead, let's inhale, bring both arms up to center, reach up, look up, and then we'll exhale, try the other side, so you can land your hands either on a block or the mat, and then press into your support as you reach your arm up and overhead, or actually you can start out low and then glide the hand up any amount, finding what works for you. And then we'll take our no nod From here, we can extend the left leg out to the side. That's my right leg. Left leg. I'll bring the right foot to the inseam of that leg. And then you can take 2 blocks next to you if you want to bring the earth up to you, or maybe 2 big thick books. Then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Look over at the drummer. And then go ahead and allow your hands to come down and frame your front foot. You can either slide your hands down onto your toes if that works, or stay a little more upright. Inhale to lengthen through your spine, and exhale, you might allow your heart to melt down towards your toes. You might just find this gentle millimeter of movement, subtle movement with your inhale, expanding and lengthening, with your exhale, finding a little bit more length. At any point, if it would feel good to relax over that leg, bowing your head down towards your knee, you can. And then on your next inhale, we'll rise back up to center. This time we're going to sweep the arms out and wide to the sides, and then you can extend your left arm down your left leg. Maybe you even just rest your elbow onto your thigh, or if you want to be more upright, you can bring a prop like a bolster or block underneath. And we'll arch the arm over. It's almost like you can reach your fingertips all the way over for your toes. Maybe if you have your elbow resting, you could bring your hand to a fist and rest your head on your hand. Take one more nice deep breath here. Then we'll inhale to rise to center. Bring both arms up, and then exhale, you're going to bring the right hand, no, this is the left hand now, onto the right knee. That's where we're heading, in the right, in that direction. Then I'm going to bring another block around so that I can rest my hand behind me, coming into a twist. You can always rest your hand on your inner thigh. Just find a little bit of leverage to lengthen through your spine. Turn your gaze gently over your shoulder. When you're ready, we'll come back to center, unwind from the twist. Just take a moment to soften and recalibrate in your seat. And then we'll get ready for the other side, so you can extend the right leg out. You don't want to hyperextend the knee, so if you're sitting up high, you could even bring a blanket folded underneath the knee so that it's not hyperextending. So you can have a soft bend in that knee. Then I'll use the blocks to frame the leg and flex the toes just slightly towards my face. So then inhale, we'll sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale to gaze over at that right foot. Maybe give it a little wave. And then you can bring your hands to rest down anywhere along the way. So maybe you bring them in close and you're up tall. And with your exhale, you could start to hinge from the hips, allowing yourself to lengthen over that leg any amount, reaching for the toes if that feels good, or staying relatively upright. So just finding where it is across to your left knee, and maybe you bring a block behind you to lift that hand, finding your twist, turning your gaze behind your shoulder, allowing your spine to ring out. Taking some nice deep breaths to lengthen through the spine, and then exhaling, wringing it out, letting go of that which no longer serves you. Then we'll inhale to unwind the twist, and you can either stay seated for cat and cow, bringing your hands maybe to your knees or your shins, inhaling to lift the heart, exhaling to round into the spine, similar to our pelvic tilts. Or you can come to hands and knees if you like, and you might use a blanket to pad the knees, so you could unfold a blanket just to make it extra padding. We want to be gentle with our knees. You can plant the palms underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, and then you might tuck the toes under or not. You can either have them tucked or untucked, and we'll inhale, lower the belly for cow pose. Exhale to round into the spine for cat. So take some nice deep breaths, following your own pace through cat and cow. You might even start to draw a circle with the belly button. Or find any other movements here that would feel good to you in your body. Allowing yourself time to explore. Maybe you imagine you're meeting your spine for the first time. Allow yourself to befriend your spine in such a way that you're exploring, how does it feel? Allowing yourself to be with the sensations. If you're drawing a big circle with the belly button, you can reverse the direction whenever you're ready. And then we'll meet up in a neutral spine. From here, you can draw the belly up towards the spine, and then exhale, peek your gaze over your left shoulder, bending your hip towards your shoulder. Inhale to come back to center, and then exhale, find the other side. Go ahead and wag your tail one more time to each side. And then from here, we'll come to center and find a child's pose, or you're welcome to find a down dog instead. You could bring the big toes to touch, open the knees out wide, sink the hips back, walk the hands out in front, and lower your forehead down to the back or to the mat. If you'd like to take a supported child's pose, it could feel nice to bring a bolster or pillow in between the knees. It could even be a stack of blankets. And that could just help bring the ground up to you. Maybe you bring one cheek to rest on the bolster. And then halfway through, we'll switch sides. Allow your heart to melt. If you're resting your head on a bolster, go ahead and reverse the direction of your gaze by lifting your head, setting your other cheek down. And then from here, we're going to thread the needle. So you might like to use a bolster or pillow for this so that it's not so low to the ground, or you could also use a block instead underneath your head. So I'm going to come back into my child's pose, coming up into hands and knees, but keeping the knees a little wide, I think helps with this pose. So I'll take the bolster out to the side, and this will just be just for my head. And then you can plant the left palm underneath the shoulder and start to weave the right hand underneath the body. And I would weave it right underneath the bolster so that I could bring my head to rest on that pillow and reach the right hand like across the chest. If you were sitting upright, if you wanted to do this upright, it's basically like this stretch here. So your arm is coming across your chest, and you could bring your left arm to hug it if you wanted to do this seated. Allow your breath to cascade down that gentle curve in your spine. Take one more nice deep breath, and then you can come back to your hands and knees and get ready for the other side. So you might move that bolster over to the other side. This is where my cheek will rest. And then plant your right hand now, and we'll weave the left arm underneath the body so that you can lower your head down to either the bolster or the mat. Send some nice deep breaths into your shoulder, into your upper back. Go ahead and take one more nice deep breath there, wherever you're at, and then we'll come back to hands and knees. You can slide the bolster off to the side for now. And then we're going to be making our way onto our bellies. So just decide if you'd like padding underneath you. You can either leave the blanket there if you have it, or slide it off to the side. And then you can come directly onto your knees, or you might start out on your forearms, and maybe you walk your knees back and just find a little bit of forearm plank here. So you can kind of lean your hips forward, hover your belly over the mat for a moment. Gazing down, you might find just a little bit of shiver, quiver, shake, finding that strength and balance in your core. And then whenever you're ready, you can lower down onto your belly, stretch your legs back, and then you can stack your palms, lower your forehead down to rest on the back of your hands. And this shape is called Makrasana, or crocodile pose. It might feel nice to bend the knees and maybe allow the heels to gently sway from side to side, massaging the belly, maybe the quads. And then from here, we'll find stillness, bring the feet back to the ground, and then you can lift the head, slide the palms back so they're right underneath the shoulders. And then you can start to press the tops of the feet into the mat, imagining you could fire up the engine of your legs, allowing them to strengthen. You can slightly tuck your tailbone towards your belly button, engaging your core, and then press your palms just gently, lightly into the mat as you peel chest up. This is a baby cobra. Use the strength of your spine to lift you up. And then exhale, you can turn your right ear towards the mat. Soften all of your effort. Maybe slide your hands back. Taking a moment to soften and rest. And then we'll come in for one more baby cobra, so you can plant your palms underneath your shoulders. Maybe even imagine your hands here are just hovering over the mat. And then you can start to activate by pressing the tops of your feet into the mat, tucking your tailbone, strengthening through your glutes, your core, and then lifting your heart. On the next exhale, you can lower down. This time bring your left ear to kiss the mat. You can reach your arms behind you. Soften all of your effort. And then when you're ready, you can tuck your toes under. We'll bring the hands underneath the shoulders and press up through tabletop. And then we'll find our first downward facing dog. So for downward facing dog, I like to use the blocks. I can find them both. So I'm using the blocks on the lowest setting. You can tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, and then making sure that your hands are going to be supported. You could start to walk your heels in any amount to find your downward dog. Maybe you pedal the heels, sashay the hips a little side to side. And whenever you feel ready, you can walk your feet to your hands, or your hands could walk towards your feet, and you could come into a forward fold, planting your palms either on blocks or on your shins. Go ahead and inhale to press into support, and you can lift up halfway, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, let it all go, coming into your forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. One more time. This time in your forward fold, you can wrap your hands around your opposite elbows and allow yourself to gently ragdoll here. Allowing your spine like a waterfall to drape over, finding length through your vertebrae. And then we'll go ahead and release the hands back to your hips this time. Bend into your knees and then use the strength of your legs to press yourself up to stand. Once you arrive at standing, we'll go ahead and sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, draw them to the heart center. Let's try that 2 more times. Inhale to sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, draw them to the heart center. And one more time. From here, come to stand in your standing mountain pose, Tadasana. You might need to pick up your cat and give it a squeeze. Allow your eyes to soften. Maybe you close your eyes for a moment and feel your feet rooting down into the earth as it's becoming spring. You might think about left foot and then peel your right heel off of the mat. Then you might pivot so that the knee is open and the heel is right up against your ankle. And you can also do this by standing at a wall or having your hand on a chair if you like. Give yourself some support by just holding on. You could even step your foot up onto your calf, or some people like to step it over the knee onto the thigh. So find what is going to work for you. And you can either leave your hands at your sides, or maybe you invite your hands to meet at your heart center. Finding a gaze, this gentle focus, drishti can help with balance. And from here, you might bloom your 3 middle fingers open, imagining this lotus flower right at your heart center. Allow whatever wish or blessing you'd like to send out to appear in between the palms of your hands. And then you can allow your arms to stretch overhead. Allow all the goodness from your cup to rain down. And then bring your hands to your hips, and you might kick your foot out in front. And then step it down and shake it all off. Allowing your arms to gently graze your sides. And then we'll come back to center. We're going to find the other side. So this time you can start to root down on your right foot. Maybe peel your left heel up off the mat. And you could even stay here just exploring that stretch. I think that feels so nice for my foot. Maybe you open the left knee out to the left and you just bring the ankle to rest on, the heel on the ankle. You can hold on to something for support here, or you could slide that foot up to rest on your calf, above the knee, on the upper thigh. So wherever is going to feel most nourishing and supportive for you today. Find what kind of tree you'd like to be. Keep your hands resting at your sides, or you might invite your hands to your heart. Bringing your intention maybe into the palms of your hands. Imagine your cup brimming up, overflowing. Allow yourself to send that intention out into the universe. Allow it to rain down on you and those around you. There's enough for all of us. And then maybe you come back to center and you could kick the left foot out. Find balance and then step it out. And once more, shake it all off. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then we're going to be coming down into our downward dog. This time I might just go ahead and use the chair for a chair downward dog, chair dog. So you can stand out in front of your props, whatever props you're using. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Bring your hands onto whatever props you're using. And then we'll inhale here for halfway lift with a flat back. Exhale, fold. And then you can find your version of a down dog. With the chair, I can just walk my feet back, really lengthen here through the upper body. So find whatever heart lifted, another option would be to lean your hands back. Lean back this way. Take another nice deep breath in whichever version of boat that you'd like. And then when you're ready, you can hug your knees in towards your chest. Roll onto your back. Maybe you walk your hands up your shins, your ankles, your calves. You could give your ankles or calves a little squeeze and rotate the ankles, coming into happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. Or maybe you reach your hands onto your feet. You could rock here a little bit side to side. Happy baby pose is like a deep squat, but from your back. So find yourself in this playful place. And then whenever you feel ready, you can release your feet, plant them on the mat, and then press into your heels to slide your hips over to the right and allow your knees to fall over to the left. You can open your arms out wide to find a twist. This might be your version of a twist with the knees stacked. Or if you want to deepen the twist, you could slide that bottom leg long and then bring your top knee to touch down onto a pillow or block, sending your gaze over in the opposite direction as your knees, and allowing yourself to soften here. Feel the strong, steady support of the earth beneath you. Allow yourself to practice surrender. Take a moment to readjust, finding your center, stretching your legs long, stretching your arms overhead, and just take a moment to pause and notice. Allow yourself this time to soften. And then when you're ready, we'll get ready for the other side. So you can swim your hands down towards your hips, plant your feet on the mat, shift your hips over to the other side this time, and then allow your knees to stack. You could extend your arms out into a T, turn your gaze over your shoulder. Or if you want to deepen this twist, you could extend that bottom leg long, and maybe you bring a support for underneath the knee. Allow yourself to soften here, and you might notice subtle differences from left to right. Allowing yourself compassion and curiosity. start to unwind from our twist. And you can come to flat on your back once more. Maybe really recalibrating your spine, lengthening through your spine, making any adjustments that you'd like. And then if you have a chair or a wall space, I was going to set us up for our figure 4 with support. So if you'd like, you can bring a chair or cozy up next to a wall. And this is a very similar shape to pigeon pose. So if you prefer pigeon, that would be another option for you if you know how to do that one. This is just a little bit gentler, I think, because it's on our back. So you could bring your feet onto a chair or onto the wall. And this chair isn't really going to work because it's sliding away and I really want it to be supportive. So I'm going to come to this more stable object instead and bring my feet onto the support and then extend my right leg long, bring the left ankle onto the right thigh, and then slide the shape in towards your body. Another thing you could do if you don't have something to plant your right foot on is you could weave your hands around this right thigh and draw it towards you. If it feels too far away, you could also bring a strap behind that right thigh so that you can kind of relax your arms a little more, lengthening through your arms, either having them long, or the nice thing about the wall is it allows you to not have to hold on at all. If you want to deepen this stretch, you can draw the shape closer to the body and press the left thigh away. Maybe flexing the toes towards the knee. Give yourself a chance to soften, settling in. Take one more nice deep breath on this side, and then we'll shift to the other side so you can lengthen both legs long. Maybe roll out the ankles a little bit and then draw that right ankle onto the left thigh, and then bend the left leg so that you can start to draw the shape in closer. So you're kind of dragging that left leg down the wall, bringing the whole shape into the body. If you don't have something you'd like to rest your left foot on, you could also wrap a strap behind the left thigh so that you're kind of able to draw that shape in towards you closer. Find what's going to work for you in your body, and then allow yourself to settle into the sensation. Noticing any subtle differences from left to right. Class, I like to leave a little bit of choice time for you to decide if there are any other shapes that you love, that you want to explore, or you can always give yourself this time to practice surrender by coming into your final resting pose, Shavasana. corpse pose. Enjoying the live sounds. You can allow yourself to exit the shape. Maybe for your corpse pose, you'd like to use the support of a bolster or pillow underneath your knees. So you could come to lie flat on your back. Bringing the bolster or pillow underneath the knees if you like, or resting the legs on some supports, or coming to lie flat on your back. Whenever you feel ready, you can always invite yourself into your corpse pose. Giving yourself this time to receive support. As you start to make your way in your own time and in your own way to your final rest. I just have a passage from this section about Ishvara Pranidhana. This is about this pose, Shavasana. She says the yoga posture called Shavasana or corpse pose is a posture for practicing surrender. Putting ourselves on our backs with our arms and legs stretched out at 45 degrees from the body signifies the death of the activity we have just participated in. In Shavasana, there is nothing for us to do. We are asked to lie there, relaxing any tension in our body, letting go of effort, and trusting that the breath will breathe us and the body will renew itself. It sounds easy, but it's not. This practice of Shavasana is one of the most important practices we can do. For it is here that we begin to learn the meaning of letting go of all the ways we physically and mentally fight with life. Contraction is a feeling of constriction, of pulling in. Expansion is an opening, a creating of space and wonder. When we find ourselves in contraction, we are fighting life. When we find ourselves in expansion, we are in the flow of surrender. Allow yourself this moment of time to practice surrender, Ishvara Pranidhana. discern where our paths lie, and then surrender to that awareness, we will begin to taste the freedom and joy in a way we never dreamed possible. Of the past to gently fade away. Any plans for the future to wait for a moment. As you breathe, imagine your heart center is like a balloon. Allow it to grow in all directions, capacity to give and to receive love from your heart. Allow your awareness to notice yourself, this nice big earth, cozy and surrounded by a vast universe. To be here today in this unique time and place. You can start to send your breath deep into your fingers, into your toes. Imagine yourself moving them for the first time. Take a moment to rotate the wrists and the ankles. You might find a nice long body stretch, reaching your arms past your ears. When you're ready, you can roll onto one side, finding a fetal position. You might take a moment to pause there. And whenever you feel ready, you can press yourself up into a seat. Invite your hands to meet at heart center, maybe sweeping your arms up and around to gather in all of your heart's desires. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your practice with us this morning. You can bow your head towards the wisdom of your loving heart. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which means peace, peace, peace. Thanks everyone for being with us, and feel free to let us know if you have any thoughts or concerns about class.